5 Factors Not Considered in the Travels of Maya. By Krishna's Mercy. Kathitamipit koyam sambhramov upagat kim phalam kasya vodesh kenva sadhyate mak. Quote, My dear Father, I am very respectfully and humbly inquiring, what is this arrangement? Why you are busy in making some sacrificial ceremony? What is the reason, and what is the result? For whose benefit is it, and by what means will it be accomplished? Shrimad Bhagavatam 10:24-3. For a person new to the science of self-realization, the entire proposal, especially when applying to the journey of the human life, comes down to a single line of division. This is what separates success from failure. It is the way to measure progress, to see if we are advancing or regressing. It is the way to understand the influence of the knowledge we have accepted, the effectiveness of the practices implemented, and the current state of the consciousness. That dividing line can be described by 2 terms, Brahman and Maya. Brahman is the goal. We are already Brahman. We never had to become Brahman. It is our eternal state. We are eternal in our existence, which means that we are always Brahman. We will continue to remain that way in the future. Maya is illusion. Its most powerful influence is making us completely unaware of our identity as Brahman. Instead, we identify with the body. We change our identity as a result. At one moment, we are in childhood. A few years later, we are a young adult. To our consternation, one day we become old. The final change is death, but the dhira individual, sober from knowledge, is not bewildered by such changes. Dehinosmin yatha dehe, kaumaram yauvanam jara, tatha dehantar praptir, dhiras tatra na muhyati. Quote, As the embodied soul continually passes, in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Lord Krishna, Bhagavad-gita 2:13. The aim of the science of self-realization is to thus eliminate the influence of Maya, be firmly situated in knowledge. We can more accurately call it wisdom. Gyan is the way to enter the discipline. It is the knowledge accepted from the teacher, who is ideally a tattvadarshi. They can rescue us because they have seen the truth. Tadvidhi pranipaten, pariprashnen sevaya, upadekshanti te jnanam, jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Quote, Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Lord Krishna, Bhagavad-gita 4:34. Vigyan is the wisdom. It is the practical realization of the Gyan. I am Brahman, but Maya stands in my way of reaching that realization. Saints such as Goswami Tulsidas warn against artificially creating this realization, of immediately identifying as Brahman, which is the spiritual energy. They recognize that there is a superior Brahman who is never under the influence of Maya. Devotion to that higher force, Para-Brahman, can be flow through something basic like chanting the holy names. Hum lakhi lakhi hamar ke beech, tulsi alakhi ka lakhi ram naam japneech. Quote, O mystic, first know yourself, then realize the supreme absolute truth, and then see the material nature standing in between. O wretch, without seeing these, how can you understand what the unmanifested, invisible feature of the absolute truth, Allah, actually is? Chant Sri Rama's holy name instead, says Tulsi. Dohavali 19. We can try to keep Maya away, but we should understand that she works in a diligent manner. As we see from the following review, the illusory energy dominating the material creation pays not attention to a variety of factors that would otherwise appear to grant some sense of immunity, leniency, or protection. 1. That you are a man.
You know who is really in Maya? Women? They are always focused on the externals. Try it for yourself. Sit down with them to watch a sporting event. While you pay attention to the strategy, to the varieties in skill set, and most importantly, to the score, they constantly remark about the clothes. They make judgments based on appearance. They speculate about the significant others to the players, whether they are actually into the relationships or not. Who cares?
2. That you have many years of service.
You know who is really in Maya? The beginners. They do not know better. I was there at some point, but that was a long time ago. I have been following the routine of chanting the holy names in a steady manner. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I have been pretty decent at following the 4 regulative principles, which are practically impossible to implement in the degraded condition of society as it stands today. Maya really goes after the weak. I am strong in my service. That strength has been built on numerical advancement, on the momentum gained from many years in the field.
3. That you are advanced in knowledge.
You know who is really in Maya? The ignorant. By definition, they do not know better. They cannot spot the pitfalls. They fail to identify the traps. They tell me their problems. I hear of their stories. I can see the issue immediately. When I bring it up to them, they are surprised that I notice something wrong. They had no clue otherwise. I am not saying that I suddenly became enlightened. I have followed years of intense study. I have questioned myself. I have been so upset at times that I slammed the book shut. I always came back because I knew the answers could not be found anywhere else. Now I stand in a very healthy position.
4. That you can influence others.
You know who is really in Maya? The people who have nothing to their name. There is the saying, the empty sack cannot stand up straight. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, Swami Prabhupada, remarks that no one listens to the poor man. If you cannot influence others, you will be influenced. That is simply the way of nature. I feel strong in my position. I can help others to identify Maya and respond accordingly. If you do not know how to bring others into the light, you are more likely to remain in the darkness.
5. That you are a deva. This was highlighted in the historical incident of the first Govardhan Puja. We would expect that a celestial, given their responsibility in administering different aspects of the material creation, would be immune from the effects of illusion. False ego and pride are obvious indications of a lack of knowledge. but we see that these forces can take full control over an otherwise intelligent and discriminating individual like the King of Heaven. Sri Krishna, who has control over the material energy, had a plan to curb the pride in Indra. Krishna began the proceedings by asking a few questions. Simple enough, but they were relevant to the situation, such that the leaders of the community began to think twice. The heart of the matter was, Kim Phalam. What was to be gained by the annual Indra Yajna, for which the residents of Gokul Vrindavan were preparing? What were they looking to gain? Krishna knew what to expect as a response, and so he expertly argued in favor of worshipping the nearby Govardhan hill. This was a replacement. The people were advised to skip the Indra Yajna this time. There would be no harm. The same Phalam would be there. In addition, everyone would be happy since Govardhan was already dear to the community. There was no time to think. Better to act fast. Nanda Maharaj, the loving father to Krishna, agreed to the new plans. The influence of illusion was such that Indra failed to recognize Krishna for who he is, the supreme personality of Godhead. Though situated in a responsible post, Indra abused that power for something petty, like settling an imaginary feud with villagers. Indra took the first Govardhan Puja to be the greatest personal insult, and so he responded in kind with torrential rain, targeted at the people, and especially their leader of diminutive stature, Sri Krishna. We can criticize Indra for his misplaced wrath, for his short-term outlook, for his lack of intelligence, but one of the obvious lessons from the incident is that the influence of illusion can attack at any time, at any person, and without prior notification. The good fortune for Indra was that everything related directly to Krishna. This was a case of the influence of Yogmaya, which is the auspicious kind of illusion. Therefore, no harm resulted. Krishna lifted Govardhan, and the people were saved. We can also take shelter of the same hill, which is non-different from Krishna, to protect us against the influence of Maya, which can strike both beginner and veteran alike. In closing, not from stature to lack, or missing resources to back, but still Maya to attack, in heavenly regions track, such that Indra rivalry created, and plan for vengeance instated. But blessed since Krishna through, who proper resolution knew,